Hey again, YouTube. This is my next one for the day. And this one is a touchy subject, but it was one, these things have been on my mind all week, and I really haven't had time in the mornings to, do these audios while, I'm trying to get the kids ready, so I'll wait for the weekend, and here it is. Anyway, this one's been on my mind all week, and it's touchy, and I'm not sure how many people, who bring these questions to a public forum really talk about it because of the stigma and it seems like people will associate it with you. And I'm talking about sexually transmitted infections. I don't care if y'all associate that with me or not, because it needs to be discussed, especially with African Americans, various STIs, previously known as STDs, previous STIs really disproportionately impact African Americans, and it's because, we are afraid to talk about it. We are afraid if we talk about gonorrhea, syphilis, or herpes, people are going to say, well, she must have it or he must have it. And, regardless if, somebody does or doesn't, it still needs to be discussed. And, it came to the fore for me because I instant message with a good buddy who I've known for some years. He tells me he was bored in his office, and this is why it bothers me. This is why I'm bringing it up, because he's a grown man. I mean, like, staring 40 in the face, staring it down, and he still was kind of talking disparagingly about someone with an STI, and he was saying he was excuse me, he was saying he was sitting at his desk watching people go by, saying, 1, you don't have it, 2, you don't have it, 3, you don't have it, 4, you got it, talking about herpes. And I guess I was like, oh, 1 and 4, huh? And he goes to tell me how there was a lady who he used to work with who had it. She admitted it, and said that she still was able to get dates, still was able to get guys to sleep with her. And he thinks that she tried to on a few occasions drop some hints that she wanted to sleep with him, and he just back away, which is your choice. Someone informs you that that they have an STI. It is your choice whether or not you want to have sex with that person. I don't want to say that everyone listening has got to give people with STIs a chance. What I am saying is that we have got to kind of remove this stigma, because I look at that woman as being very brave. I don't know who she is, but I know that she has herpes, and I shouldn't know that. I shouldn't. I mean, even I shouldn't know that from anyone other than herself. And yet here I have my grown-ass friend who, in my opinion, should know better, spreading her business and spreading in a way that's comical. And that's what keeps, I think, a lot of people from admitting and, that they may have something, because they don't want their business in the street. And even I think, a lot of folks can take, being made fun of. Like, if you tell one person, they're like, well, no, you dirty, you nasty, I don't want to deal with you. This, supposed relationship, budding relationship is over. I think, it hurts, but I think you can deal with that. I think you can deal with that more than, you're getting handed that rejection and then going around people that and then they all got their nose turned up at you and won't follow you behind you in the bathroom, or sit in the seat you've been sitting in, because, someone has told everyone about your situation. And the real is, chances are, whether you know it or not, if you have had sex with more than one person, you probably have come across someone who has been exposed or is carrying an STI. That's the real. I mean, a lot of people are carrying asymptomatic STIs such as herpes and HPV, and don't know it because it's asymptomatic. Nobody knows. It hasn't symptoms haven't presented themselves, but you still can shed it. You still can pass it on to someone. So, we got to be a little more, and it's hard for me to say because, I'm thinking if a guy came up to me and said, well, I have, HPV or I have HIV, that's a real doozy to get past. I'm not sure, how far I could take things, but it's that internal, nobody wants to be hurt down there, but, definitely, I'm working on myself, and I'm just asking you all to work on you, even if, you hear, someone comes to you that you're interested in, and Cole believe that, there are a lot of, physically attractive people who have had an STI or currently has an STI. So Cole believe don't, just because they look nice, they look clean, doesn't mean they don't have it. So if the guy or girl of your dreams come up to you and say, look at this, I used to have chlamydia back in the day. I took my medication, I'm good, but I just recently got over that infection. Think about it. Weigh what is worth to you. Don't just turn them down just because they have that. Think about it. Situations happen, and you look at this HIV epidemic among African American women, and I don't want to say it's all coming from here, but you got different avenues why this is affecting African American women disproportionately. You got a lot of us in the hood, or not the hood, whatever, the general jail population comes from. We get our mates coming home from the pen. They did 5, 10, 15-year stint and don't want to admit that, they had relations with other male prisoners, and they don't want to even admit it to themselves, so they don't use protection. They come home with HIV. They come home, they bring it to you, and and you don't question it, because to say that you had prison sex, that's a fight, that man will fight you, especially if it's true. So you got it coming from there, and then you got it from just if your mate is promiscuous, and a lot of attention is put to down low brothers, but it's not just them. It's not just them that's promiscuous. You can get, men can get HIV from men and women. So if you've got a mate who is not necessarily faithful to you, who is supposed to be, and so you a married woman, you doing what you're supposed to do, you having faith in your husband, and next thing you know, you got an STI, especially the ultimate, HIV. So, and the same goes for men. You could be married, your woman could be, just this raging whore, and come home and you got a little itch down there, you can't figure out what the hell's going on. So, I guess they need love too. It takes a lot of understanding, and it takes, above all, maturity. So I guess I'm asking you, YouTube, not to do like my buddy did about this unknown chick who I now know has the herp. Let's try and be a little more objective, a little more understanding, and even if you reject them, please do so in a non-hurtful manner, and not tell their business. And I guess that's it, YouTube. Let's try to keep it growing. On to the next.